Imagine waking up one morning, stepping into your garden, and noticing your tomato plants look wrong. The leaves are curling, the stems are sticky, and if you look closely, impossibly closely, you'll see them. Hundreds of tiny, soft-bodied creatures, barely the size of a pinhead, quietly draining the life from your plant. You didn't see them arrive, you didn't hear them come, but they've been here for days, and if you do nothing, they will not stop until your harvest is gone. This is the story of the aphid invasion, and it begins long before you ever notice a thing. Aphids are among the oldest and most successful plant destroyers on Earth. These minuscule insects, often no larger than 1 to 2 millimeters, come in a staggering range of colors: green, black, yellow, even pink, depending on the species. The ones that love tomatoes are typically green or pale yellow, making them almost invisible against fresh foliage. They belong to a group of insects that have been feeding on plants for hundreds of millions of years, and in that time, they have perfected the art of destruction. What makes aphids truly dangerous isn't just their appetite, it's their speed. The invasion usually begins in early spring or summer, when temperatures warm and new plant growth appears. Aphids are carried to your garden by the wind, by birds, or most commonly by ants, which actually farm aphids, moving them from plant to plant in exchange for the sweet liquid waste aphids produce, called honeydew. One winged aphid lands on the underside of a tomato leaf. She's already pregnant. In fact, she was born pregnant, and within 24 hours, she begins to give birth, not to eggs, but to live young. No mating required. In those first days, the tomato plant shows almost nothing. A slight curling at the edge of a young leaf, a faint stickiness on the stem. These are the first whispers of something wrong. Easy to miss, easy to dismiss. The plant's defenses begin to stir, but they are slow. The aphids are not. Within a week, the single colonizer has become dozens. Within 2 weeks, hundreds. They cluster in thick masses along the soft, new growth at the tips of stems and the undersides of leaves, places where the plant tissue is tender and the feeding is easy. Each individual aphid is drawing fluid constantly, and together, they are stealing the plant's most essential resource, the sugary sap it produces through photosynthesis. What starts as a tiny invasion quickly becomes a full-scale attack. The leaves closest to the colony begin to yellow and curl inward as if trying to protect themselves. The plant's new shoots, the ones that should be growing upward, reaching for light, twist and distort into deformed, crinkled shapes. This isn't just a surface wound. The plant is being starved from within, its growth energy redirected to repair damage it cannot keep up with. And there is another, darker thread hidden inside this attack. As aphids pierce through leaf tissue to reach the vascular system, they act as needles carrying disease. Certain strains of aphids transmit plant viruses, including the devastating cucumber mosaic virus and potato virus Y, injecting them directly into the tomato's circulatory system with each feeding puncture. A single infected aphid can spread a virus to multiple plants in a single afternoon. The damage from the feeding you can see. The damage from the virus you may not discover for weeks. Elsewhere in the garden, the honeydew the aphids excrete begins to coat nearby leaves in a thin, shiny film. It looks harmless. It is not. That sticky residue is a perfect growth medium for a black fungal coating called sooty mold, which spreads across leaves like a shadow, blocking sunlight and further smothering the plant's ability to feed itself. The colony continues to grow. More winged individuals are born. They take flight, carried by the breeze to neighboring tomato plants, to peppers, to squash. The invasion is no longer contained to a single stem. It has become an outbreak. At its worst, a severe aphid infestation transforms a once healthy tomato plant into something almost unrecognizable. The leaves are curled, yellowed, and covered in black mold. The stems are coated in a glistening layer of honeydew. The growing tips are stunted and malformed. Flower buds, the promise of future tomatoes, drop before they ever open, and the fruits that do manage to form are small, misshapen, and flavorless, robbed of the nutrients that should have gone into them. A plant at this stage is fighting on every front at once. The roots are pulling water upward only to have it stolen before it reaches the leaves. The leaves are too damaged or covered to photosynthesize properly. Viruses spread by the aphids are rewriting the plant's own genetic instructions, causing unpredictable and irreversible damage. Without intervention, this plant plant will not recover on its own. It will weaken, stop producing, and eventually collapse. But here is where the story turns, because nature and the informed gardener have answers. The first and most powerful line of defense is water, plain, forceful water. A strong stream directed at the underside of leaves and stems can knock entire aphid colonies off the plant in seconds. Done consistently over several days, this disrupts their feeding and breaks their reproductive cycle without harming the plant or beneficial insects. It sounds almost too simple. It works. The second weapon in the natural arsenal is neem oil. Derived from the seeds of the neem tree, this organic solution coats aphid bodies, disrupting their ability to breathe and reproduce. Mixed with a small amount of dish soap and water, it can be sprayed directly onto infested areas in the early morning or late evening when temperatures are cooler. Applied every 5 to 7 days over 2 to 3 weeks, neem oil is one of the most effective and gentle solutions available. Insecticidal soap sprays, which break down the soft outer layer of the aphid's body, work in a similar way. They are harmless to the plant and to most beneficial insects when applied correctly. And then there are the allies. Ladybugs, lacewing larvae, and parasitic wasps are natural predators of aphids, and a garden that welcomes them is a garden that can regulate aphid populations without any human intervention at all. Planting marigolds, dill, and fennel near your tomatoes attracts these beneficial insects and creates a natural defense perimeter. Avoiding broad-spectrum chemical pesticides helps keep these allies alive and active. In cases of very severe infestation where natural methods are not acting fast enough, a pyrethrin-based spray derived from chrysanthemum flowers can be used as a targeted intervention. It degrades quickly in sunlight and leaves minimal residue, making it one of the safer chemical options available. It should be a last resort, not a first response. Remove heavily infested leaves and stems by hand and dispose of them away from the garden. Never compost aphid-infested plant material as it can harbor eggs or living insects. With consistent treatment, the change begins within days. The sticky honeydew dries. The curled leaves, those that were not too far gone, slowly begin to unfurl. The plant, no longer under constant siege, redirects its energy toward healing and growth. New shoots emerge clean and straight. The sooty mold, deprived of fresh honeydew, fades and flakes away over time. Recovery is not instant. A badly damaged tomato plant may take 2 to 3 weeks to show visible improvement, and some leaves will never fully recover. But the roots are strong, and given the chance, the plant will produce again. To prevent the next invasion, inspect your plants twice a week, especially the undersides of leaves and the soft new growth at stem tips. Introduce companion plants that repel aphids, like garlic and chives, and that attract predators, like flowering herbs. Avoid over-fertilizing with nitrogen, which produces the soft, lush growth that aphids find irresistible. And at the end of each growing season, clear away old plant debris where aphid eggs can overwinter, waiting for spring. The aphid is small, impossibly small. You could hold 100 of them on a fingernail. But in the world of the garden, small does not mean powerless. These creatures have outlasted dinosaurs. They have adapted to nearly every climate on Earth, and every season they arrive in your garden with one purpose: to feed. The tomato plant cannot fight them alone, but you can fight for it with attention, with knowledge, and with the understanding that the best battles in the garden are won not with force, but with timing. Catch it early, act consistently, and the harvest you were promised, those red, sun-warmed tomatoes, will still be yours. The invasion ends where the gardener begins.